All right, YouTube, what's going on? Antayami here, back with another video. And then today we got test hands. Woo, test hands. All right. I'm gonna keep the intro really short. If you guys like the content, make sure you guys leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And if you don't do all those things, I'm gonna come into your house and I'm gonna untuck your bed sheets. Got him! Anyway, I know that a lot of people were wanting me to walk through that community post inboard, so I'm gonna recreate that combo as the first test hand. So let's go ahead and get started with that. So it was tails, one imperm, one nib, and double deception. For all those deception players that like don't know how deception works in this deck, it can be a very strong, like obviously part of your combo, but sometimes it's great to start with and it's great to bait. So we're gonna go ahead and hop into that combo right now. So double deception, this and this and this. All right, let's go ahead and start into this. So obviously the first thing, and yes, I think I saw a comment saying that, oh, of course there's no disruptions. Yes, they're test hands. So unless I specify, hey, I'm gonna play through certain hand traps, a lot of these hands are gonna be uninterrupted. So these combo test hands are gonna be through no interruptions. So just FYI. It's just supposed to show you the maximum capacity of what the deck can do. And the deck plays through a ton of hand traps anyway. I think earlier today I played through like triple hand traps. But anyway, let me stop yapping. Let's go ahead and start with our deception. Deception is going to tribute our only target, which is going to be nib. And this is going to search out for our hollowed as soon as I can get to it. Of course, it's the second card from the top of the deck. Next, we're going to activate hollowed, sending that by effect, by the way, not by cost. And we're going to summon our Arcielago. Arcielago's effect is going to trigger here to search out for our wanted. Then after this, I'm going to go ahead and just activate both of these at the same time because we're going to just do that anyway. So we're going to activate this, chain this, and Tails is going to search for our Azet, and of course our wanted is going to search out our lone Black Witch. Don't tell me she's at the top. She was close. She was very close. Send those to the grave. So basically now our goal is that we want to typically I always want to play my combos away from nib. Like I don't want to get nibbed. So that's probably the only hand trap I like to play through because nib is a card. So now we're going to use Black Witch effect, or sorry, we're going to use Black Witch and we're going to send the other card that's not the Sinful Spoils card and Azet, and that's going to be our infinite impermanence. And then we're going to use Della Bellstar's effect to set our Tails of the White Forest. Discarding the extra card in your hand is very important for this particular hand, because now we're transferring the one extra card from my hand to like potentially more bodies, and you're going to see that in a second. Keeping the Sinful Spoils card in our hand is going to be very important. Then we're going to set the White Forest of the Sinful Spoils, and then after that we're going to take these two. This is summon number 2, by the way, and we're going to turn this into a moon. And the reason why we want to do that is because we want to set up our Omni Negate so our Azet is free to like resolve typically, right? So then now we're going to activate Hollowed. Hollowed is going to shuffle back our Arcielago, and then we're going to activate Hollow Azamina, sending the Sinful Spoils of the White Forest. And then we're going to summon this. Now we are pretty much protected. I wouldn't say protected from every hand trap because you can still get imperm nibbed, which happens a lot in a lot of my combos. Or when I test, some people want to just beat the inboard and whatever, and sometimes you can still put up a lot of interruptions through that too as well, which is funny. Now we're going to go ahead and go through our faithful Fiendsmith stuff. We're going to dump Engraver by dumping it with the Locker Mud, which is put money on it. She's at the freaking top. Dude, guys, what the heck is happening? Black Witch, top 5. Locker Mud, top 3. Hollow, top 2. Like, hello? They're going to think I'm slow playing at tournaments. So anyway, yeah, Locker Mud dumping the Engraver. This is in the grave, by the way. Next, we're going to activate the effect of Requiem, and we're going to use Azet to send this. And as that effect is going to trigger as one effect, searching Sylvie. Before we normal summon the Sylvie, very important that she doesn't have any search targets here. So we're going to use the effect of Wanted, banishing that to put back our Civil Spoils of the White Forest to the bottom of the deck. And since this is a combo tutorial or test hand, I always like to draw cards that are not, you know, not good, whatever. I mean, Ash Blossom is good, but something that's not gonna like change your combo, right? So something that's like a hand trap. So we're gonna search Ash Blossom. Then we're gonna normal summon Sylvie here. Boom. Sylvie's gonna search the card that we just put at the bottom of our deck, which is this. And then now we are going to synchro 6 into Arciela. Use our effect, send that for cost, and then we're going to search out our Azamina Azep. Glad she was at the bottom. And then this is going to trigger on a new chain link. Since this was only set off a Black Witch and it used the effect to reset itself, we're going to do that there. So we're going to set that card right there. Then I guess I'll keep it face up for face value. Then after that, we're going to activate Azet's effect. Azet is going to summon itself, and then we're going to synchro into 8. Azet chain link 1, this chain link 2, and this is one of the few hands, and I think I talked about this in multiple videos on sometimes you resolve this card 3 times. This is how you do it basically, right? So this is going to add back that, and then Azamina Azet is going to search out our beautiful brick and the Queen of Azamina. Then after that, we're going to activate. And even before you activate this, just for optimization, activate this first so it can set itself. Even though we have one in the grave, it's just best to do it anyway, right? Just for practice sake. Activate Hollowed. We're going to send these 2 to the grave. And then we're going to summon our Saint Azamina. Then on the new trigger, Queen Azamina is going to bring herself back out. And then we're going to take these 2 and we're going to turn these 2 into a sequence. Sequence is going to shuffle back everything but Lacrima. So we got 1, 2, 3. So these will get shuffled back into the deck. And then we're going to bring out our Desiree. Then after that, we're going to take all these and we're going to turn it into an Agmende. And we're gonna hold Agmende there for a little bit, because what we're gonna do here is that actually no, we're gonna just use Agmende effect. It doesn't matter. I was just thinking about not running out of space here, but let's go ahead and Agmende, bring back out the Desiree, and then sequence is going to equip to the Desiree here. And then after that, we're gonna take Sylvia of the White Forest and shoveling back the Arcia. And then we're gonna take these 2 and turn these into an IP. Remember what I said before, and I think in one of my recent videos, that there's end boards where you end on more. You know, you have to like the Desiree plus, or sorry, the IP SP on board plus the Saint Azamina. This is one of the examples where I was talking about, right? So and it was just simple. It's just Deception plus Tails. So it's like, it's insane, right? Then after that, we're going to use the effect of Saint Azamina, and this is going to summon out our Regina. Regina effect is going to bring back our Dale Bells, and this is our end board. So we have 1 card in hand, which we drew off of the Wanted, and then we have the Deception coming back on end phase. I mean, again, we got like infinite follow-up. We still got Lacrima Engrave, and the only thing this Simple Spells tells is gonna really do here is basically summon this card out, since we already have Saint Azamina, and we want to time this with this so you can get the double pop, and then you still get the double pop off this trigger too, so you have like 2 opportunities to do it. And the cool thing is you can use this as the Azamina monster, and then use Desiree as the fiend, and still go into this. So basically you get like 4 pops off of this. So you get a Sin off this, a Sin off this, a double pop off this. You still have an Omni negate, SP Lord of Night, this effect. Like, it's so much. It's just so much. And that's off of Deception and Tails. So basically what you guys just saw was a 2-card combo, which is insane, right? Of course, through no interruptions. So that's the line of making that first. Let's go ahead and hop into another random test hand. All right, we're shuffling away. We are shuffling away. Yeah, guys, I hope you guys are all having a great day. You know, it's starting to warm up here in the Carolinas, and it's very beautiful. So in a couple hours or so, I'm about to be outside touching some grass. Comment down below if you guys also touch grass today. So, oh, I'm dropping Deception. Okay, there you go. I just stacked my deck. Perfect. Judge. No, well, anyway, we're gonna keep shuffling away here, and then we're gonna draw my 5 cards. Hopefully it's an awkward hand. Hopefully it's like a hand where I draw like Arcia, like Queen Azamina, and no other like White Forest names. And hopefully I can show off the Veiler plus Black Witch when you don't have access to White Forest, because that technically can get you access to White Forest. But I'll explain that once we come across that. Funny, we talk about Veiler. Okay, Ferraros. Oh, hey, oh, am I a psychic? Nib. Okay, this hand is not looking really good. And Deception saved. All right, perfect. All right, so with this hand, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with Deception. So let me also talk about this too, because sometimes you want to pass on some certain hands and don't play or don't full commit. Sometimes you end on like a Requiem, and it'll just help you play through like potential interruptions a little bit better, right? Because you want to resolve this card, and if your opponent has Ash, like, it's whatever. But if they don't have Ash, you can still put them underneath a Floodgate, and then you can like still Imperm Veiler them, or Imperm Nib, or Veiler Nib in this situation, and then play on turn 3, right? With like the pushes in your hands, right? So there's certain hands where you don't want to full commit and make sure you keep your board clear. So like this card can resolve and get value for going first. Same thing if you get hit with withdrawal. So like, say for example, if this was like Fiendsmith, and let's say you activate Fiendsmith effect, search track, and you get hit withdrawal. Well, now you got 3 defensive cards that can help you play and survive. And there's just no way you die through that, right? So just some quick options whenever you draw this card. It makes you like play a little bit different. Sometimes you can full commit, like obviously you can just use Deception tributing this, and it probably will be the play here, because if this gets ashed, then this is dead. But if this gets ogred, which I don't know if ogre is becoming more popular in the format, then you probably want to hit the Nib, or I mean most likely you're still hitting this, because I mean Nib is gonna be live regardless, right? So let's go ahead and start with Deception. Deception is going to tribute and go for the Charmy here. And there's 2 different options you can do here, and I'm going to go ahead and showcase. I'm not going to do both lines here, but just some things to be wary about. The greedy line versus the safer line. So usually if you know if your opponent's on 40 cards and they're on like tons of hand traps and stuff like that, it's safer to actually go for the Azet, only because you have the Arcia already in hand, and then that's like the safest line through most hand traps. Like you can like activate this effect and then summon this from the hand, and then you know you're off to the races. You guys can see the combo here. Or you can get greedy and just put your opponent on Veiler Imperm, because this right here would have got Ash if they had Ash, right? But that doesn't show that your opponent has Imperm or Veiler. So if you're scared of Imperm and Veiler, it's better to go for this line. But if your opponent doesn't have it, or you just want to balls to the walls and put this into rotation, because Hallows is a broken card, right? Then go for that. But I think we're gonna go for the safer line, just to show that off, right? So let's just go for the safer line here. So because it probably ends on less, right? So we're gonna search out Azamina Azet, special summon with her effect, special summon Arciella, and we're gonna now synchro. And this is gonna pretty much look like a standard White Forest combo. Then we're gonna do chain link 1 Azamina Ezet, chain link 2 Arcia to send that to the graveyard, and then this is gonna search out for Azamina Ezet, or sorry, the regular Ezet, and she is going to search out for it seemed like it's going to be between this and Wanted, and most likely it's going to be Wanted here, because even though this can set itself back, the Delabelles will add back the Witch or the Wanted, and then we can continue our alliance through that. And it sucks that we don't have access to Hollowed, but I guess we can get access to that anyway. So I don't know, later turn or whatever. So like really no Azamina access at the moment. So we will activate the effect of Ezet, sending this, and then this is going to search out for our Sylvie. I would say there's just no shot that all 3 of my Sylvies are at the top of the deck. Like, hello. Then we're going to synchro 8 into our Delabelle. Delabelle's effect is going to activate, and we're going to add back our Wanted. Multiple things you can do here. You can normal summon Sylvie. Sylvie can add the, as soon as I can find it, Sinful Spells of the White Forest. And now we're going to be in a situation where we do have access to an illusion, and we have access to a spellcaster, which can help you get into your Azamina package, right? So I'm gonna probably play this by ear, and we're gonna let me see if I actually want to do that or not, because there's no other way you can get your Azamina package. So, but I feel like if we take this off board, we won't be able to rank it back. Ooh, I actually might go a little risky here. Let's go into our Azamina package this way. So we're gonna actually use this effective fusion. Let's have fun with this test stand, right? And then we are going to activate the effect to search for our Hollowed. Now this looks really familiar, right? So now we have access to Hollowed, which is really, really awesome. And then now we have our beautiful combo where we activate this, chain this, and then we're going to search out for our Black Witch. Black Witch. Then after that, we're going to summon out our Omni. Put it here. And then we're going to activate the effect of Wanted. And I'm going to make this a real draw this time, because I just want to make it a real draw to make it a little bit more realistic in this particular scenario. So we're going to just shuffle this up to make sure it's shuffled up really nice and good. And we're going to draw to see if we can draw like maybe a Fiendsmith card, or I don't know, something crazy, right? So we're going to put this at the bottom, and then we're going to draw actual card. And we drew into a Fiendsmith. That's actually kind of funny. So, just letting you know, we do have access to both of these in the grave, and then we also have access to like these two. So I'm wondering if there's a way that we can actually bridge back our way into the Azamina Regina, and I don't think we can, because we already went through our Azamina Ezet, and I don't think we can search her. So we still have access to Hollowed, but now we gotta figure out how do we get into more Simple Spells cards, because if we can get into Regina, then we can summon this back from the graveyard, right? So I don't know if I have access to, actually I think I do have access to two, don't I? Because this can search out one with the quick play. Yeah, I guess we're just gonna have to take the L on it, honestly. And if we didn't draw Engraver, let's just, okay, you know what? Yeah, Engraver's is kind of insane. Let's just add Ash, bro. Like, True. We just added a dash. I feel like let's just keep it like low to the ground as possible. Yeah, I think from this position we're gonna probably end up going for the effect of Arcia, and we're gonna shuffle back this, putting this back, and then we're gonna go down our beautiful Fiendsmith combo. So moon into Requiem effect, and then we're gonna go ahead and put Engraver to the graveyard with the Lacrima, just like that. And then we're gonna activate Requiem, and then we're gonna summon Black Witch by sending the Requiem. Black Witch effect is going to activate, and we're going to set our Civil Spoils of the White Fortis. And then from there, we are going to, because I kind of want to keep this in graveyard so I can have my White Forest follow up for next turn. We are sacrificing technically like a Book of an Eclipse on our opponent's turn, but it's okay. We can use that as like strictly follow up from this position, because there's just no way if we drew more like Simple Spoils cards in our hands, we can actually have access back to the Delibels. But it is what it is. I think this is still definitely worth it, you know, all things considered. So I think we can definitely I still have Hollow to activate, don't I? Well, I guess we go ahead and activate Hollow, and we're going to shuffle back our Azamina Azet. I mean, mine as well, right, at this point. Or, if you want to, let's actually be optimal, just in case, like, our opponent, like, baits a nib or something. Like, say, like, this, they want a nib to just get this off the board. Actually, fair enough, we can just hold off, keep this engraved. So just in case our opponent decides to activate something, then we can actually remake this as a negate on your opponent's turn. So let's just actually say that for more optimal plays. So I guess from here, since we're not going to activate any more White Forest cards engraved, I guess we just take these two and turn them into a sequence. Then we're going to activate the effect of sequence. Boom, boom, boom. Again, keep our Lacrima in the grave, because that's just Fiendsmith follow-up. And then we're going to Desiree. Then we're going to link those off into the Agman Day. And then Agman Day, bringing back our Desiree sequence, attaching to the Desiree. And again, this is basically our end board for this particular hand. And I forgot to explain this in my other test hand. My minimalistic end board I try to always end on, it's usually this. It's 1, 2, 3, and then this is set in the spell and trap zone somewhere, right? That's the minimalistic. The board that you saw in the first combo, that's kind of like anything on top of the end board is like bonus, right? And I guess what you saw was kind of like the God board, basically. Sometimes Chaos Angel's there. It just depends on like the hands and stuff right there, right? And usually the Chaos Angel is light and dark. But this is kind of like the minimalistic end board I like to try to end on. But in this position, we definitely end on a little bit less. But we're gonna use our White Forest cards. And okay, anyway, I'm getting off subject. So yeah, we're gonna use our White Forest cards as like follow up for our next turn. We can add back Hollow, and then we're gonna shuffle back the, you know, this if our opponent didn't end on anything. And yeah, we can just pass on this. And this looked like it's kind of weak, but again, we have a lot of hand traps in our hand. We have this for like ready follow up. Again, we don't have like a real synchro to go into, and I feel like this is going to be probably dead in this particular situation, only because if this stays on board, that's fantastic. Like say, for example, your opponent starts with an imperm, you can let it get imperm, and then now you can use that as the illusion monster instead of like this, because typically this is on the board for the illusion part of the materials. But then you can also just start with like this, and then add back this. We don't have a Guardian Chimera in our extra deck anymore, and it's just gonna be strictly just follow up at this point, right? you know. So it is what it is on that particular situation. Yeah, so you can either use this as an Omni, or you can turn it into like more disruption by using like more removal type things and stuff like that. So you have options here, but I don't think your opponent's going to win through all this, because what can happen is, instead of using this as an Omni negate, you can definitely use these two, take it off the board like that, turn it into like a Souls, and then chain link 1, chain link 2, or vice versa, whatever. You're going to spin back the Fiendsmith sequence every single time, keeping the Azamina engrave. And then after that, you can actually use the effect of Lakima by shuffling back to the deck, summoning that back out, and then Desirating again. So you have like Ascend 2 basically, and then still technically Desiree negate, and then all these hand traps on top of like follow up and stuff like that. So very strong stuff. So that's going to be that test hand. I decided to do a little bit like a weird one, just to showcase like not always ending on the Dilla Bells, but just different interruptions and different ways you can just kind of like layer your interruptions in your deck. But since we had like the triple hand trap, instead of like, sometimes these will be like extra simple spells cards or Fiendsmith cards, again, without like defensive hand traps, your inboards are stronger. But usually when you have like these defensive hand traps in your hand, your inboards can be like semi like whatever. Usually it still ends on like the similar, you know, the same inboard with the Dilla Bells and stuff, the 3 monsters and the spell, and then you still have like 3 hand traps. So like even then you just don't lose. But the more engine pieces you have in your hand, the more insane your inboard is going to be. So that's just how that goes. All right, let's go ahead and move on to test hand number 3. All right, so we're shuffling up for test hand number 3. I hope you guys are enjoying the content a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, White Forest is such a really just a crazy combo deck. It's so fun. It plays through a ton of hand traps. So much potential for this deck to be better than what it is. And it seems like on paper, it's a really broken deck. It almost feels like it's the best deck in the format. But unfortunately, today's meta game, it's not all about your end board. It's how you get to your end board, and if your deck have the ability to go second, and how much non-engine spots you have in your deck, and how many one-card combos you have in your deck as well. So unfortunately, that kind of defines what a meta deck is nowadays. So Malice fits that build very well. Blue Eyes fit that build very well. They have a lot of one-card combos, a lot of space for non-engine. Same thing with Ryzeals, and they're very resilient to interruptions as well. So not as much as Malice going second, but I digress. So anyway, let's go ahead and we're going to shuffle this up, and let's give ourselves a little cut here, and then let's see what our test hand looks like. Hopefully, again, I'm looking for awkward hands so we can like Eerie Craft a little bit. So we have Ash Blossom, Black Witch, Debtors, Lurie. Okay, it's looking pretty awkward, and Veiler. So yes, okay. So if you guys made it this far into the video, congratulations, you guys are champions. But I'm going to talk about a little bit of what I like to do with the Fiendsmith engine whenever I draw it. It's normally my first action. It's my testing grounds to kind of like hide what deck I'm playing, because a lot of people don't know I play White Forest. A lot of you guys do, a lot of people don't. So they're gonna think that I'm on like, you know, Ryzeal Fiendsmith, and I open pretty weird, and I'm normal summon Lurie and stuff like that. If I have Engraver, Lurie, Lakima, whatever, usually I like to start with those cards first. And a lot of people in the White Forest deck always like, well, how do you get access to Sylvie? There's some combos where I don't even have Sylvie and I still go full White Forest combo, right? And in this particular hand, I do have the Veiler and Dilla Bellstar. Well, since we have the Lurie in this situation, I'm going to start with the normal summon this, because again, this is going to bait the most out of my opponent. But there are some hands where you have like Black Witch plus Veiler, and sometimes Veiler is my normal summon, because if you go Black Witch, you know, you do your whole combo, you have everything. You can actually normal summon Veiler, and then if you don't have access to White Forest cards, you can actually turn this into a Dilla Bells, because this is Synchro 8 and this is generic. So this is how you can pseudo get into your White Forest stuff. So like, say for example, if your opponent activates an effect on your turn for some reason, then you can actually send debtors, I guess, for example of this. And then you can actually summon this, and this is how you get into your White Forest engine. So if you have like another spell to discard or something like that, then you can actually go into like Azamina Azet, and then now you can go into like plays like that, or you know, just things like that. For example, that's a little cool little pseudo way how to get into your White Forest engine if you don't have White Forest cards. So I just wanted to point that out. I'm glad that came up in this hand. But anyway, so we're gonna start with a normal summon Lurie. Then we're going to Lurie, turn that into a Requiem effect, and we're going to do the same song and dance. We're going to dump the Fiendsmith Engraver with the Lacrima effect. And usually whenever you get to this point where you resolve your Requiem, you're always on summon number 3. So if you're just trying to play around Nib, you have literally one more summon before you're in a Nib territory. So just keep that in mind. So then after that, since we have Black Witch, we're going to make Black Witch a little bit cheaper because, you know, it's 50% off. And we're going to go ahead and send the Requiem. And then after that, we're going to activate the effect of Black Witch. And this is going to get us into our Deception. Our Deception is going to flip itself up, and we're going to activate its effect. We're going to tribute the Black Witch, and we are going to search for Hollowed. And now we're going more into like a Fiendsmith Azamina line here. Next, we're going to activate Hollowed. We're going to reveal this, and we're going to summon our Arcielago. Arcielago effect is going to trigger. Since we already went through the Black Witch, we're going to search out our Queen Azamina for extra body. And now thinking about it, let me think here for a second, because we're not going to have access to the quick play, which is like not the end of the world here. But let me see if that matters in this particular situation, because this could be technically the quick play. And I don't think we have any more ways to search, because we're not going to search with Azamina Azet anymore. So, well, we'll just search for Queen anyway. Then, we're going to take these two, and we're going to turn this into a sequence. Now, if you get Nib in this particular situation, or if you get Nib at all, you still have Engraver engrave to like do whatever. But in this particular situation, if this gets Nib, which I'm pretty sure nobody would Nib this, you can actually do this really cool secret where you can just literally, sometimes I just make sequence and hang it on the inboard for a little bit until like the very end, and then I like pop off. Because if this gets Nib and you have access to Engraver, you can actually shuffle, that's not Engraver. You can actually shuffle back the sequence and just remake sequence with the Nib token plus the Fiendsmith. And actually, since you're shuffling back our an extra light fiend, nothing happened. Like there's no changing in light fiends. You just remake the sequence and then you activate the effect. That also goes for if your sequence for somehow just gets removed off the board somehow. I don't know how, but yeah. Just a fun fact with that. So sequence is going to stay here. And the reason why I say that's relevant is because now, since we have this engrave, we're going to shuffle it back with the Hollowed effect. And then now this is the part where you see where like, oh, now I got a Nib here, right? So you go Queen, send that. And again, if they activate Nib here, because you're forcing out the Nib here now, they're staring down to Sylvia. So if they don't Nib, this is too late at this point. And then you bring back out the Queen, and then now you can go sequence effect to shuffle back everything but the. Okay, this is basically the same thing, same three. You guys already know the song and dance here. Boom, boom. Then after that, we're gonna summon our Desiree, Deserato, and then we're gonna take these. I'm trying to see if there's like a secret way I can make a IP. I keep saying IP, SP. I think there is a world where we do that, right? Let me think about this for a second, because it's always weird because I don't always want to like misplay here. So we have an extra body here, which is perfect. So I think here I'm trying to see where I can do this without burning my Lacrima. Because having both is awesome. No, I don't think there's a way you can do it without burning Lacrima. So we're just gonna take these, and then we're gonna make an Agman Day, and then we're gonna activate Agman Day's effect. And we're gonna be funny here and just summon back to Lacrima, and then we're gonna link all these off to a SP Lord Knight. And then on your opponent's turn, you'll bring back your Desiree with the Lacrima engraved. So not really like strong things to a follow-up in this particular hand, because we're sacrificing that for another interruption, which I feel like it's totally worth it in most cases. And then we have the Ash, we have the Veiler, and then we have Debtors that we're going to set, because on end phase, this is going to reset itself. So we're going to have this kind of interruption here. So this can be a soul here, or this could be this for like follow-up if your opponent doesn't get that far, just depending on how you want to do that. And then of course you got your Desiree equipping with your Agman Day on your opponent's turn by shuffling that back out. And then of course we still got the hollow for all those kind of fun plays, and that's it. All right guys, well again, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Those are my test hands, and or I guess more updated test hands. And yeah, I guess with all that being said, guys, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace and have a great day.